5 ways rich people make money with debt. Is it true that debt is the root of all evils? Have you ever heard this phrase? To a certain extent, indeed, you should never get into debt because doing so is a form of enslavement. One's life is ended when they are buried under a mountain of debt. Even though you are making an effort to pay off your obligations, they are not waiting for you. Rather, they are increasing daily because no one loans money against their own free will. There is never a drop in interest. However, despite all of this, the United States has decided to take on debt. Almost $15 trillion is the total amount of consumer debt in the United States, which means that the average household debt is more than $5,300. Although the gross domestic product of the United States is little more than $21 trillion, the entire economy is comprised of debt. We are going to take a look at how wealthy individuals continue to use debt to make even more money. Number 1. Borrowing. The majority of the trade is contingent on debt. It may sound contentious because taking out a loan to launch a business is a terrible idea, and I assure you that I would never do that. However, there are some firms, particularly conventional businesses, in which the utilization of debt is the most advantageous choice. Let's imagine you're interested in vending pens. There is a constant demand for this commodity, even though it is extremely prevalent. If all went according to plan, you would fly to China and look for a facility that manufactures that kind of pen at a price that is reasonable and of high quality. Purchasing a container of pens, transporting them to the United States, and then distributing them to your customers would be your plan. Nevertheless, in the modern era, this is primarily accomplished through the use of websites such as Alibaba, unless it is a more difficult product that requires you to travel to the factory. However, there is a catch. You don't need to pay for the products to have the product first. I'll explain how it works. China has become the factory of the globe over the previous half-century, manufacturing everything with its factories. Continuously, thousands of factories are working to manufacture everything that the world needs. The majority of these factories would gladly lend you their items in exchange for payment at some point in the future to make it simpler for you to sell them through their products. They would not lend money to someone they do not know, so you will need to establish some level of confidence with them first. However, this is the way that businesses have been operating for the past half a century. After the customer has sold a product in the United States or any other region of the world, they will make a payment to the factory and loan their further products. To put it another way, you are essentially telling the factory, you know how to produce it, so let me help you sell it. If you can sell it for a price that is higher than this, then you will have made a profit with it. You are not committing any of your own money to this transaction, which is one of the many reasons why this method is so beneficial. Because of this, selling is one of the most important talents that you can learn to perfect. Number 2, refinancing. Because it is composed of loopholes, real estate debt is the most advantageous type of debt. You are subject to additional tax obligations if you do not have a mortgage. To take advantage of all of these deductions, wealthy people always have numerous mortgages. Keep in mind that every dollar that you are required to pay in taxes but choose to save instead is an additional dollar that you have earned. Allow me to provide you with a more realistic method. This is the way that wealthy individuals become wealthy in real estate. Let's say you were able to save $200,000. That's a significant amount of money, but if we're being completely honest, it's nothing. With that amount, you won't even be able to purchase a house. Because you are required to make a 20% down payment, you can obtain a mortgage with a maximum amount of $800,000. To tell you the truth, however, let's imagine you come across a property that has a price tag of $150,000. The property is in poor condition and requires a significant amount of restoration. When you go to a bank, you make a down payment of 20% to obtain a mortgage. Let's imagine that you want to spend approximately $50,000, which is equivalent to 10% of the entire cost of the house, on the renovation of the house. The purpose of your visit to the bank is to refinance your mortgage, but you go there once more. Because the property was in such poor condition and no one wanted to live there, the worth of the property was just $500,000 when you obtained your first mortgage to purchase it. However, as a result of your renovations, individuals are now interested in renting it out, which has resulted in the market worth of that property increasing to $700,000. Let's say, just like the first time, that you are going to receive a mortgage that is 80%. On the other hand, 80% of $700,000 is $560,000. The first bank that provided you with the initial mortgage will receive $400,000 of that, and we will remove an additional $50,000 from that amount to account for the money you spent on renovations, leaving you with an additional profit of $110,000 as the result. You use debt to make $110,000, and now you have a property that you can rent out to earn passive income and grow equity in your investment. In addition to that, you prevent yourself from having to pay taxes because you have a mortgage. The practice of doing so is widespread among those who invest in real estate. Are you still able to maintain that debt is a negative thing after this? For now, I'll let you respond to that question in the comments section below. Number 3. Hedge funds. The wealthy create hedge funds for the wealthy to make the wealthy even wealthier, and they frequently employ tactics that are not widely accepted. Mortal individuals like us put up our best efforts to forecast which businesses will expand and increase in value, and we invest the money that we have labored so diligently to acquire in the expectation that these businesses will undergo expansion. On the other hand, hedge funds frequently employ the opposite strategy, which is to gain money when companies fail or go bankrupt, as has been demonstrated in the instance of GameStop. How do hedge funds interact with debt? Let us imagine that you anticipate a particular stock, such as Facebook, to decrease because you are aware that Apple will announce that they will no longer permit apps to track user behavior, which will have a significant negative impact on Facebook's business model. You take out a loan for $100 worth of Facebook shares, after which you sell it and then buy it again for $70 so that you may return it to your broker and keep the difference. However, if you are incorrect and the stock goes up, your losses could be endless because you would continue to be responsible for paying back that stock. Number 4. Forex. Forex is the market for trading currencies, and it is the platform that enables international trade to take place. To pay employees in China, for instance, you need to purchase Chinese yen. Several different factors contribute to currency fluctuations. Profits can be made if you can forecast which currencies will increase or decrease in value. Your position can be leveraged in foreign exchange. For every dollar that is used, you can borrow $100. Therefore, you can hold a stake worth $100,000 with just $1,000, which means that even a mere profit can be considered big. Number 5. Credit score. Successful organizations use debt as a potent tool. There is a widespread practice of borrowing money to finance purchases. Developing a solid credit history as a dependable borrower is essential to achieving the goal of obtaining reduced interest rates. This can be accomplished by minimizing risks. Banks are willing to lend money, and even if they do not have any available loans, they can generate new ones. You may learn more about money and investing by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel if you find it entertaining. Once again, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.